So, good afternoon. Could we try that again? This morning's group were brilliant, and I was hoping you lot would be better, so could we just do that again? Good morning. No, good morning doesn't work. Good, good afternoon. Oh, that was glorious, thank you. We're being filmed. This is the DVD version, so you guys have got to be really good. Of course, we'd probably picked you for the DVD twice because you're the more attractive audience. Also, well, we're not going to say that's the other group, of course. So, very generous introduction from Andy there, which is kind of a lot to live up to. Just a quick bit of background then to fill in a bit more on me. 28 years in John Lewis, as Andy said. 20 years operational, frontline running selling teams. So last kind of proper job I had was running the furniture floor in John Lewis, Oxford Street. So very operational. Last 8 years of that career, moved into the head office, responsible for the customer service proposition against around 26 department stores. It's bigger now, 26 department stores, 70,000 people around the UK, 3 outsourced call centres, partnership card call centre in Birmingham. So kind of spent 8 years doing that and loved it, and then left. Actually to go into consultancy with the belief, slightly arrogantly I suppose, but I didn't mean it to be arrogant, that actually a lot of what I'd learnt in 28 years at John Lewis I could apply to other organisations and it would be relevant to them. And I'm going to do some kind of high-level stuff with you initially this afternoon, because there's some stuff that I found it absolutely does work in other organisations. At a high enough level, it's exactly the same, doesn't matter where you are. And I've worked in some really interesting businesses, I continue to. I'm working with a couple of universities at the moment because student experience is a really hot topic with all the education funding changes. Worked for a couple of airlines, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Worked for some retail, not so much, which is kind of a nice break after 28 years. And worked in, as Andy said, in automotive. I've got 3 retail automotive clients at the moment. So real mix. And at a high enough level, what you do is exactly the same. It's absolutely common. When you actually get down to execution in those different sectors, the execution can be a little bit different. But this first bit's about principles. 2 bits today. The second part, after our break, is about practical application of this stuff, about how you make it kind of work in your business. But the first part really just gives me an opportunity to talk about the context of this stuff and why I think it's so important, and try to kind of put the customer experience bit into context. Touch of theory in the middle, just start to touch on that, and that folds over to the second session. And then at the end of this first session, some stories from my time at John Lewis, just so you've had that theory and you can kind of see how it unfolds in an organisation that many of you will have some degree of familiarity with. But before we do that,